Alright, hello everybody. It is Steve again. Here to bring you a little bit more behind the scenes of what I do when I score shows for the Fantasy League. And today's video, I'm going to actually show you how I tabulate the scores. Where I basically what happens right after I have scored a show. And for those of you who don't know, this is my dog Flash. Say hi, Flash. He'll be joining us for today. Well, basically we're going to go, how do you determine, who faces who on what show? How do you determine, how do you tabulate the scores? I'm going to show you an actual score sheet. It's a mock score sheet because I don't have any names on the actual score sheets now. I'm going to show you how I maintain those scores. I keep those scores for the entire season, and I'm going to show you how I save them. I'm going to show you once I have inputted the scores, I'm going to show you how I post them to a spreadsheet, and then how that spreadsheet will how that spreadsheet will tabulate the scores that each team gets. And then once we tabulate the scores, I'm going to show you how, or actually show you the page that shows you the results on where it'll show you who actually won each match. And then when you add that to the standings that I posted yesterday, you'll get a better feel for basically once the show is over. This is basically everything that I do in order to tabulate scores and to show you who won. Who won what match on what show, and I'll show you how they get their points, and you'll have a better feel for the inner workings of how a match is won or lost. Alright, well, the first thing, let's just say that I have just scored a show, and I have the score sheet here where, basically I'll tick mark. Let's see if we can get in a little bit closer. I will tick mark, when something happens, I'll give them a tick mark, and then once the show is over, I will come and sit right here where I am right now. Come sit at my computer, and I will start inputting the scores. And I'm going to show you how I do that here in just a little bit. Let's go along on a ride. Our next stop is the computer. Alright, here we are at my computer again. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how we determine the schedule, how we figure out who is facing who during a particular show, during a particular week. Alright, so we go to the schedule page. Alright, you can see right here on week 1, on Raw, you can see Team Orange 1 is facing Team Purple 1. Team Orange 2 is facing Team Purple 2. And this schedule will be posted before each play week starts. Normally the way I do it is once I post reports for the previous week, I post the schedule for the following week so that everybody knows who they're facing and on which shows who their opponent is for each show. And I keep it all right here. You can see week 1 goes to NXT UK main event, SmackDown 205 Live. and it also goes, you can see week 2, week 3, week 4, and if you go on down the line, it goes all the way to week 16. And that's how we determine who's facing who. For the purpose of this exercise, I went ahead and created 28 mock wrestlers. I named them wrestler 1 through 28. And once I finished scoring a show, I would go to the point audits page. Okay, the point audits page, which is right here, and I have a point audit spreadsheet for every week of the season. Okay, all the way down to week 16. All right, and on each spreadsheet, I have a tab for Raw, NXT, Main Event, NXT UK, and on down the line, there is a separate tab for each show. Now, the way I did things in Season 9, though, I'll show you the Season 9 folder that I had for the point audits. I did the point audits by show last year. Okay, so like I had, one spreadsheet for Raw, and it had 16 spreadsheets on it. All right, I'm trying to make it a little bit more simple this year. That way, maybe it'll keep things a little bit more orderly. But that's how I did things last year. But like I said, this year we're doing it by week instead of doing it by show. And like I said, hopefully it's a little bit more organized than in previous years. But if you can see here, I've already, for the sake of saving time, I went ahead and already inputted all of the results from the show that I scored. Okay, so this mock show, I've already inputted all of the results from the show. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to this totals column where it tabulates all of the scores for each talent. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that, and then I'm going to copy it. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the weekly stats page. Okay, weekly stats page is where I keep track of all of the stats on a weekly basis. Okay, this is not something that is going to be saved throughout the season. There is another spreadsheet for that we will get into later on while I do these videos. But what I'm going to do is I am going to paste those results under the Raw tab. So this way we know that all of these scores happened during Raw. Okay. Now, once I have pasted that there, you will see that Team Purple 1, all of their scores showed up on their total points page. Same with Orange 1. Same with Purple 2 and Orange 2. Alright, now they also went to the scores page. Okay, this is where I keep track of how many points each team scores during a show. Alright, so you can see Purple 1 scored 37, Orange 1 scored 37, Purple 2 scored 35, and Orange 2 scored 21. Now, those scores have also been fed to my match results spreadsheet. And if you can see right here on Raw, the match results are right there. Orange 1, 37. Purple 1, 37. Orange 2, 21. Purple 2, 35. So basically, what it means is I paste those results to one sheet, and I have already I've got the scores and spreadsheets completed for, let's see, that's one sheet there, one sheet here, one sheet here, and then I also keep track of scores on this sheet, which will feed into the opponent's points. And I also keep track on a weekly basis of what each team scores per show, per week on this sheet here. So like if I ever wanted to go back and say, well, I want to find out what Orange 2, what did they score on Raw in week 5. This would be the sheet that I go to. And so that is basically it. It's that simple, in a nutshell. Paste the results one time, and I've got a lot of spreadsheets with information filled in on them. It's pretty simple. Once you get all this stuff set up, all you got to do is paste it one time, and boom, you've got your match results done. All right, well, there you have it. That is basically how I take my points that are scored from a show and input it into the spreadsheets, and it derives a lot of information. And basically all I did was paste one set of scores, and it filled out all of that information. And basically that's all the stuff that I keep track of on a weekly basis. And once a week is over, I delete all that information and I start from scratch all over again, with the exception of that last page I showed you, where I keep track of each weekly score, each show, each team's score per show per week. That is the only historical information that is kept on that sheet. Everything else, once the week is over, everything's zeroed out, and we go back to scratch, and we start with a new week. But if once again, if you have any questions, any comments, if there's a way that you think I can do it better, I'm always open to suggestion. But feel free to leave it in the comments, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow. I will go over tomorrow basically another thing after I do, once I get match results, and I'm going to show you the page that I use to keep track of things on the for the entire season, the seasonal basis, which is also on the standings page. But this is how I keep track of how teams are faring during the entire season. So we will go ahead and take care of that tomorrow. But until then, have a nice rest of your day, and take care, everybody.